So thank you guys for being with us again. This is Steve. We wanted to say a special thank you for everyone who's here with us. We're dedicating this episode to our fallen brother, Christopher, who we miss and we love. This is a tough topic. We're dealing with grief, but I promise you we'll have some fun. Thank you for being here with us. What's up? What's good? What it do? What up with it? Que paso? Que ondas? Wagwan? However you say it, from wherever you're from, thank you once again for taking the time to be with us. I'm one half of the co-hosting team, Steve, and this beautiful lady over here is who?
I am Liz.
And this is Marriage for Grown Folks. All right? Thank you once again for taking your time to be with us. I don't know how you're consuming this content at the moment, whether you're in your car or whether you're in your, living room, watching it on your phone, on your lunch break. We're really grateful that you guys are here. And believe me, I mean it. Mark is here, and every time I see Mark, I'm reminded. We will be on Spotify and on iTunes and Apple Music and all the places that you should find your podcast really, really soon. All right? We're working on it. A lot is happening right now. That's a good thing, right?
It is.
A lot is happening.
I'm excited.
Right now. I'm extremely excited. Yeah. Mark, how you doing, Brody? I'm glad you're here, man. The energy is always appreciated, man.
Yes.
Always appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of free time.
Not for long, friends.
Not for long.
Mm-mm.
Not for long.
Mm-mm.
So it's been a good day. I think, I don't know if I like Thursdays per se, but I do like the energy. I like when there's other energy in the building. You know, I get it. We're creating something, but all we're really doing is having a conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? On camera. But nonetheless, when there's people in the room, it kind of feels kind of cool. So let's just hope that these microphones are not catching
all of the background
noise. But these are sure. You see these suckers right here? These are sure.
I do.
It's the goodies.
Mm-hmm.
This is the goodies. And you know, we got good engineering. You'll be just fine. Yeah. So how you doing, ma'am?
I am so great.
So great.
I am so great. How are you?
It's been a doozy of a week.
Yes.
Yeah, but it feels like I'm kind of getting back to work.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I am feeling good. All things considered.
Who told us to attempt to party on a Sunday night?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what we was thinking. That is not in my forte.
Because by Thursday, I'm like,
right.
Can we really get to Friday?
Right. Just got back from Vegas. And then from Vegas, we went into a full work week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A couple of days, I'm up at 5 a.m. for my Breakfast Club workouts. I thought Mark was coming this morning, but he didn't show up. That's all right, though. Ducking.
Did you come last week?
Yeah, he did.
You were there? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I saw your car, and I was like, oh, they're here. But I was like, oh, it's kind of sus because it's just this building and everything. I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just text them. I'm just walking around.
So he had a West Side morning.
So did you participate?
No. We weren't there.
They weren't there.
That was when they were painting. And he's not a part of our. I don't have him on our.
Next time.
On our.
But that's a drive for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Because I was coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, you want to start with Tim Check?
I can. I absolutely can. Okay, so we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
It's called Never Have I Ever.
Never have I ever. No. Never have I ever. No.
So you're gonna have to put your hands up.
My hands up?
Yes.
I'm a black guy. I don't like putting my hands up. It feels
okay, so you just need to, I should have painted my nails, but you need to put up 10 fingers.
10 fingers.
Or 5. How do you want to play?
Let's go 5.
Let's
go 5.
Let's go 5.
All right.
Fine.
I got 5 up here.
Okay, 5 on it. So when you play Never Have I Ever,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to name a statement.
Okay.
And if you have done it, put a finger down.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Okay?
I dig that.
Okay, great. Never have I ever called someone by the wrong name on a date. Never have I ever told a lie to impress someone I was on a date with. Never have I ever fallen in love at first sight. Never have I ever been on a date with someone more than 10 years older than me. Never have I ever kissed someone on the first date.
I'm running out of fingers here. I'm joking.
Never have I ever snooped through a partner's things. Never have I ever been on a blind date.
Wow.
Never have I ever had a crush on someone I worked with.
All right. Okay.
Never have I ever lived alone. Never have I ever covered for a friend who was lying.
Man, listen. Look at this little finger left. Look at little weird finger left.
No.
I got one finger left.
Never have I ever eaten something bad that a significant other cooked because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I guess you win.
I guess I win.
Yes.
As much as I love anybody, you know how I get down. Me and my son, if we don't like it, it ain't gonna happen.
It. Okay.
It ain't gonna
Fair.
happen.
Is there anything now?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty funny.
I'm gonna have to play that one back because I was not looking.
That's pretty funny. You know what's funny is the 10-year date thing.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea that I was on a date. I don't know how naive I was at the time, but that 10-year gap, I was like, wait, is this a date? Right? No, let it go.
No,
let it go.
I got questions.
Just let it go.
Wait a second.
Let it go. Yo, watch your mouth, Mark. Never have I ever. Oh, man, that's funny. That's funny.
So you went on a date with somebody that was 10 years either older than you.
Older than I. Mm-hmm.
And you didn't know that you were on a date?
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Duh.
Once again, duh.
Wait, were you with
we'll talk about it offline. We'll talk about it offline. Mark, don't judge me down there, man.
I'm just saying because now that woman might be part of this demo because
man, I'm 45. I do not care what part of the demo this person is on. I'm married with kids. I'm clean, bro. I'm clean. It's a baby mama reference. You know that.
Uh-huh. Have you... Yeah, the shower. When she's dyeing her hair. I remember. Okay. I'll ask you off camera.
Copy that.
Okay.
Copy that. Okay. So, ma'am.
Yes.
What are you reading right now? Have you read anything new? I know you run through books because you're audiobook. Mm-hmm. I'm not an audiobook.
I am an audiobook listener.
Yeah.
And yes, so I'm going to name off 2 books today. So the first one is just a fun book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was called, I actually really liked this book.
Yeah.
Minus the girl stuff that was going on.
Okay.
Yeah. But outside of that, I really liked the book. It was called Killer Potential.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by Hannah Deitch.
Okay.
Deitch. Deitch.
You could go either way with that one.
Right. Okay. So this book, it was a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman was I think it resonated because she was doing like test prep and SAT prep for students in like affluent spaces. But it was based in LA.
Okay.
And she happens to be visiting this family that she sees every Sunday.
Yeah.
And when she went to visit them on a Sunday to do her test prep like usual, she finds the parents murdered.
Oh.
Yes. And so when she shows up, she's caught off guard, such and such.
I mean, caught off guard is the understatement.
Correct. But then she hears someone like help in a closet.
Mm-hmm.
So she opens the closet and she sees someone like wrapped up. And so she conjures this narrative.
Hogtied.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hogtied. Thank you. She conjures this narrative that that person is the victim somehow.
Mm.
And so the book takes you through to try to figure out what exactly had happened. And there's a whole bunch of
twists and turns and
but it's pretty fiery and there's a whole lot going on. And then
it sounded like the premise for Smooth Criminal.
Oh.
Michael Jackson. You've been hit by that's in your shoulders just now. The shoulders.
I'm thinking about that meme you showed me earlier.
Which one?
Where the stomach be bubbling and it had Michael Jackson beatboxing or whatever.
That is funny.
That is funny. So that was good. Killer Potential. Great book.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new author. Also,
Okay.
this is her first novel, and I thought she did a pretty good job. So can't wait to see what else she's got. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this book again because I actually finished it this time. It's The Let Them Theory.
Okay.
Mel Robbins. It is, I've said it before, it has really been helpful. It took me a lot longer to listen through. And again, I told you I need to get the hard copy. Yeah. But it helps me specifically in dealing with things and letting things go. So I thought part 3 was going to be more of like, let them, let me, and then like let something else. And it didn't go that way. Okay. And I think I told you that in whatever episode it was. So anyway, it goes back to like letting me. It emphasizes on letting me. And so I just thought the book was really great. Again, it's about releasing control. It's about giving people space to be who they are in their most authentic selves and learning to love from where they are and as they are. And so I thought, there's so much that I can do with that. It's a really awesome book.
It sounded like it really grabbed you.
It did.
All right.
I'll read it again.
Very cool. Yeah. Say that name again so people know out there.
The Let Them Theory?
The Let Them Theory by
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins is a bad girl.
She is.
I really appreciate it. You
the
put
lady
me
with
on.
The glasses.
Yeah, you put me on to her a while back, and I didn't really grasp what she was trying to get to until I started consuming some of her social media clips, and I was like, oh, she's dope.
She is.
She's dope. She's deep, and she's probably been, well, we know now, but she's been through some things. Yeah, and I think it says a lot about someone who can go through something and then process it and then synthesize it, put it out for people to consume, and it helps them. That is the height to me of articulation.
Well, yes, she does all of that, and she's absolutely authentic.
Yeah.
So like she'll tell you like right in the beginning of the story, she's like, I talk about control, it's because I was a control freak, but she does that in everything that she produces. So podcasts, whatever it is, if you when you listen to her, it's as if you are talking to her, like you're having a conversation with her. Totally digestible. And she does a really good job of like, hey, here's my resource. This is the author. This is my therapist. This is my, so there's no gatekeeping or anything like that happening too. So it's good. I like her. That's
dope. I'm glad. I hope people really, get into that. Maybe I'll give it a read, but right now I got to get to Larry's book before I finish Viola's book.
Yes.
I got one more book to jump into, so I'll introduce that when it's time as well.
I think we should read that together. I'd like to read it as well.
Sure.
We just have to sync our schedule somehow.
Somehow.
Or like you read chapter 1 and then, or however, I don't know.
We'll get it done.
Yes.
Let's
do it.
Yeah, man.
Or I should just get another copy. I'll just buy another one.
It's only supporting our guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Healing Culture, Larry Love.
What you listening to, man?
No, what are you reading?
I'm still reading the same book. I don't consume like audiobooks that fast, so I'm still on Viola's book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've said that about 3 or 4 podcasts at this point.
And that's okay.
Yeah. No, of course it is. That's how I consume reading.
Got it.
You know what I mean? I read. I like the book. I like it in my hand.
What you're saying, wait a second. What I'm doing is not reading?
I didn't say that. But
you
if
said
that's
I'm
what
reading.
Yeah. If you took it away, that's, my father used to say you choose to be offended.
I just wanted clarity. I wasn't offended.
Okay. You look like you're ready to fight.
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
Mentirosa. You was about it. Yeah, right. Put them hands up. Put your dukes up.
Would you say that little girl did, and it wasn't? That's not how you really dance. That's not how you really fight. What was it, that meme that you put up?
Oh, I'm sure Mark's seen it. They got this meme now where they doing some dance now.
And it's like,
and they do some little stupid. I'm like, yo, look, you see this?
But the arm is
I'm like, no, it's like this.
Oh,
I'm like, that ain't how you gonna get your head knocked off. Your chin, your body language is wrong. Your chin is wide open. You know what I'm saying? Your fists are not. You know what I mean? They're not here, and your power punch is back. What? Who was doing that? That's the dumbest thing ever. That's all. But
that was like the flinch move, though. I'm just.
By the time you finish flinching, you knocked out. Night.
Lead out.
Fight over. It's over. It's over. Round 1. It's over. Yeah. Yeah. But how are you, though? I didn't bother to ask. How are you? How's your health? How's everything going for you?
So, since you're asking about health, my parts hurt. So my knees, sorry, let me specify. So like my knees hurt me a little bit. I got some glute stuff going on. My wrists were hurting me a little bit. And now this thumb, and you told me it's probably some carpal tunnel. 44 has been testing me. She's really been like, hey girl, you about to be 45.
Hey, Mark, I jokingly say, take the whole wife back. Find the receipt and take the whole wife back. This is not in the bylaws or the small print. You know what I mean? Turn 44 years old and stuff start falling off. It's like when you finally like pay your car off. The moment you pay your car off, things start falling off.
The engine goes.
Engine go, timing belt, something happened.
Don't say that,
punctured tire. Please, I'm 200,000 miles in now.
Yeah,
we good to go. She officially broken in.
Remember though, a lot of stuff was just happening. You like, man, come on.
Right, like, come on, bro. Like, I like not having
give me a second.
Right,
before I
let me enjoy not having a
car
car payment for once, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so just in regards to music, like what am I listening to? I have been specifically in a 90s bag. I will. Yes. So I'm not going to talk about what we listened to while we were on our way to Vegas.
Okay.
But I am going to say that inspired me to listen to Intro.
Okay.
And so
if you let me.
Oh my goodness. It wasn't just that.
Mark, you know
playing.
What Intro is?
You'll have to look them up. It's very
I'm
90s.
So sick of this guy.
90s New York. Where are they from? Brooklyn?
Intro? I don't know where Intro
I
from.
think they were from Brooklyn.
I didn't care.
Really
they were dope. I didn't care, but they had 3 songs. I didn't care enough to find out where they were from, though.
I loved that CD as a 13-year-old.
Let me come inside. Let me go rush you all over your body, baby.
Yeah. Something like that.
90s.
Something like that. Yeah. So listening to it really took me back to, like, I was going to name the address.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that. But it took me back to McKinley Street.
Oh.
It really did. Like
the Yellow House.
The Yellow House.
Yeah.
It really did. So anyway, and I didn't realize how, like, listening to the songs, I just started it from the beginning. I was like, wait, I know all these riffs. I'm not going to sing them.
Yeah.
But I knew all the words. I remember the words.
Intro, they snuck in there, man. There was a couple of groups that don't get the accolades for the 90s moment. They kind of snuck something in there, but then again, they lost their lead singer. So, you know what I mean? They couldn't really go any further without the lead singer.
Right.
You know, him and Tony Thompson, you know what I mean? There's a lot of lead singers. Dino. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of dudes that could go that's no longer here.
Right.
It could have been, the landscape could have been different.
Definitely. Because they were maybe what? Like,
they were young.
I was going to say they weren't much
older than us. Right.
I remember he was good friends with Ashanti.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the artist. And so his passing like impacted her. And I remember her talking about something in an interview.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and I was just like, oh wow, like more people did know about Intro. You know how you have some of those bands that are those groups that just never
materialized after that first project.
Popular per se, but we knew him because of the radio stations.
Tony Thompson was dope.
Oh, he was.
Yo, shout out to Karina, who's you know what I mean, who's an avid
subscriber.
Watcher. Yeah, she put me on to Tony Thompson once he left the group, and that first little project was pretty dope. Yeah. So shout out to her. That was a dope project. And we found out that wasn't nobody else putting in the work. It was pretty much Tony Thompson and the Tony Thompsons. He was the one doing all the background.
He was doing the background. Right. Oh, that's Tony.
Oh, that's Tony.
And that's Tony too.
Right, yes. Right. Okay. I bet he was stressed out. But God rest their spirits, all of them. Dino, Tony Thompson.
Kenny.
Kenny was his name from Intro?
Yeah, Kenny. Right. I don't remember the last name right now. He was a monster, man. Mm-hmm.
He had an incredible voice. You know what I listened to just recently as well to throw it back? That Player project was a sneaky good project. Yeah. Timberland was in his bag. Him and Missy was in their bag with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, listen to Player. That's an R&B group. As a matter of fact, I might get this wrong. If I'm not mistaken, one of them was the one that did Lollipop for Lil Wayne, right?
I think you told me that. I'm not really sure.
I might be wrong, but I think one of them was actually the producer for that. So went on to do some things.
Okay. But what you listening to?
What do you mean? What am I listening?
I'm so silly.
Did you set me up for that one?
I did not. There's
a setup?
That was a setup.
Silky segue. You know good and well I'm listening to Clips right now. Not the Clips. Clips.
The brothers.
Pusha T and Malice, a.k.a. Smoking Stack. Yeah, buddy. For a guy like me who is a hip-hop junkie, and we love our groups and we love our lyricists that stay in their lane, and they're thoughtful, and and they bring it to go 16 years as Malice walked away to pursue his faith, his walk with Christ. But Pusha T materialized into one of our heavy hitters, one of our our bullies, so to speak, lyrically speaking. And to see them age and to see them put out a project that was this good is probably, if it's not better than Hell Hath No Fury, then I might be better than that. But
what is Hell Hath?
This one that was their second project.
Okay.
But it was the one. It was the one. We knew about grinding and all of that, but but anyway, this project was long awaited and did not disappoint. And Pharrell was back in his bag again. Didn't overdo it. Didn't do any extracurricular activity, but it was dope beats, dope rhymes, and to me, that's what hip hop is all about. Don't get me wrong. You want to dance every now and again. You want to party every now and again. You want to be loose every now and again. You want to learn something. But for people of my ilk, of my age, who are really looking for that adult contemporary hip hop feel from people that we trust and believe in, this was all worth the wait.
Awesome.
And I told you that I felt like I learned so much about the business. They rolled out like a 90s rollout. They made sure that they touched every single thing that people who are looking for them were watching. 4 or 5 or 6 interviews dropping, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. It was saturated, right?
Yeah. One song every 3 or 4 weeks. And then they release at a certain time. You can only find them in this place. You know what I mean? And even when I was on Apple Music, I would go and then, hit refresh. And then there were 2 more songs. And then 15 minutes later, 2 more. I was like, oh, this is really, really good. And then even after all of that rollout and all of the interviews they do on all of the major, platforms that people 35 and up watch, they finished last night with the ESPY Awards.
Oh,
so
they
I
did.
was like, brilliant. As far as business goes, you want to make sure you do your job. And I appreciated that from them on a business tip. That's how you cover all your bases and leave nothing to chance. Well done.
Good job.
Well done. Welcome back. Push and Malice, the brothers, Smoking Stack as I call them. All right, that's a Sinners reference. If you haven't seen Sinners, go see Sinners. At this point, you haven't seen it. Like
at this point,
right? Smoking Stack, they are brothers. But yeah, that was dope.
It was.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I can tell.
Yeah,
I love that for you.
Absolutely.
And all you clippers. Clipsers. People who like the clips, but not just clips. Okay, bye.
No edits on that one. That's everything that we need. Woo, that was bad, but so good at the same time. Look at you, content creator.
It was so bad.
You content creator. Look at you over there. Let me get the camera off her before that dude on TikTok say something slick again. Yo, whoever you are on TikTok, dog.
Don't.
Yo, watch your mouth. This dude on TikTok was talking crazy about my wife. Fam, let me tell you something. I know Shorty is bad, but it's my wife. You're on it's called marriage for grown folks. I get it. I totally understand. You know what I mean? I totally get it. She's bad. But what you said, for however long I watched, I was like, yo, do you talk to your mother with that mouth?
Oh.
Huh?
It was that bad.
It was, he liked you.
Oh.
He really appreciated you. He truly appreciated you. Yeah. And like I said, if we were in the next movie of Inside Out, I would be another bot. B-O-T, bot.
It's all good.
Yeah. So, you ready to get into Knock It Off?
I'm interested in what you're about to say.
All right. Let's see what I got for Knock It Off. All right. I got so many places that I can go with this. I guess I'll start. So Knock It Off. It's my segment. My wife calls me a crotchety old man for a little while, but this is my get off my lawn segment. Get off my lawn.
Do we have like a sound bite?
What? That is it. Get off my lawn.
Oh, I was.
That is it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So this is the Get Off My Lawn segment called Knock It Off, where I kind of explore a couple of things. Maybe it touches your spirit, maybe it doesn't. All right. But either way, here it is. All right. I promise you I'll try to keep it clean. All right. I got a lot here. So first things first, let's just knock it out the way. All right. The cat's out of the bag. There's an elephant in the room. But straight up, knock it off. I'm not even going to call you guys Trump supporters at this point. All of you people who voted for Trump, we are officially living in the F around and find out portion of this country. And as we do that, you're hearing multiple people on multiple platforms, podcasts and beyond, finally give their, I'm sorry, I had no idea he was going to do this. Apologies. Knock it off. This gentleman told you exactly who he was, not just politically speaking, but he did not introduce himself to you as a politician last week or last year. He's been on the scene for years, all right? The resume speaks for itself. Google is your friend, bruh. Knock it off. You voted for exactly what we're getting, all right? You thought with a straight face, someone that has been lying their entire career would all of a sudden turn around and start telling the truth to get elected and do exactly what they said they would do? Knock it off. There's this thing called Project 2025 that lined, I didn't read every line on it, but from what I'm finding out, everything that he said, he is hitting. Boom, boom, boom. And now that it's happening, less than a year into his term, we're acting the people who voted for him based on his politics and not his character, because I guess character doesn't matter with the highest level and office in the land. Knock it off. You guys are responsible for this. Sit there in it and just stew, but stop it with the apology tour. Knock it off. All right? I'm not a politician, but knock it off. All right?
You need a minute? Oh.
I don't need a minute. We get right into it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Next. All right? I'll keep it a little lighter. Now, we all know, we're adults here. We all know what cleavage is, right? We know what cleavage is. Mark, you know what cleavage is? Are you aware of what cleavage is? I'm aware of what cleavage is. Now, listen, women are grown and they can do what they want to do with their breasts, their boobies, their bombas, all right? Oh, but bro, the new butt cheek cleavage or the booty cleavage, we're doing too much.
What? Wait, huh?
Booty cleavage. It used to be just booty shorts. No. These shorts are now, look at your face, look at your face,
like look at your face. Dress?
Right. Knock it off. There are now dresses and shorts and other pieces of clothing that are considered butt cheek cleavage. Mm-hmm. They're designed for people to see your butt cheeks. Fam, I'm out with my family. I'm trying to eat. I don't want to see your butt cheeks, right? We've already lived with the breast thing. The breast thing is the breast thing. It's been here for years. It ain't going nowhere, but I need you to knock it off. This is getting out of control with this butt cheek cleavage thing, all right? Keep your butt cheeks at the crib. You can go out, keep your butt cheeks at the crib. Booty, butt, hiney, tush, whatever you want to call it, but knock it off. This is getting out of control. If I'm walking behind you, you got to assume, right? Right? I'm tripping?
No.
I'm not tripping?
No.
We just got back from Vegas. Let me elaborate real quick.
Okay, fine.
We just got back from Vegas. If I'm lying, I'm flying. But everywhere you go, Mark, I promise you, walking down any hallway, any elevator, there are people, there's ladies out there with their butt cheeks out. And it's on purpose. Now, I don't care whether they're nice, whether they're little, whether they're great, small, whatever. But I didn't walk out of my room or get out of my car or leave a restaurant with the idea of looking at your butt cheeks. Knock it off.
So you're talking about like the jean shorts that might be cut a little high.
Absolutely.
And so then you can see like the bottom. Okay, got it. I figured that. Yeah. So when we went to a party on Sunday, and someone walked in, and the woman's dress was purposely too short so that the bottom of her butt cheeks could fit, could be like peekaboo right here,
right.
That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, got it.
So I don't know what they're called. I just call them butt cheek cleavage because it's the same idea, right? Isn't it the same idea of having some skin showing so you can, kind of showcase, the cleavage or the crack of that?
Yeah.
All right, we're not doing that. I'm not going to pan to you so some dude on TikTok can, we're not doing that. What I'm saying is these butt cheeks. You know what I mean? And now even more so, Mark, there's nothing I can do about it. So now because it's acceptable and this is how we're getting down, now I could have my son with me now. I could just have my son. Now, mind you, he's a couple of feet shorter than me. So now the butt cheeks are directly in my son's face. The butt cheek cleavage is directly in my son's face.
You don't like that?
I don't like that. I got to explain this to my kid like, yo, hey, Dad, why are her butt cheeks out? I don't know. Nalgas, you know what I mean? That's what they say, right? Nalgas. Booty. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
yeah, okay.
She grown. She can do what she want to do. Sorry about my accent. My accent was terrible.
Okay. No,
but yo,
you're
knock
okay.
it off. Knock it off with the butt cheek shorts, with the butt cheek cleavage. Knock it off.
So if a female has a butt, it's a problem, and if she doesn't have a butt, it's universal.
You're messing with me on purpose.
No,
you're doing it on purpose. I see what you're doing. It's not okay to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's not okay to have a booty.
I'm asking for the people. I just want to know.
I'm a black man.
Uh-huh.
Booty's fantastic. I like bum, booty, cheeks, whatever you call it. I appreciate a nice rump.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I walk out of the house and I need to see the cleavage of someone's butt. That should be reserved for someone else. Knock it off.
Their person?
Their person. There you go. We don't all have to become your person. Knock it off. This is civilization.
Sometimes that's the goal, though.
As we say to our daughter, when you walk, Mark, this is not funny. This is serious. There's people walking around. Knock it off. As we say to our daughter sometimes, when you wear things, as we teach our teenage daughter, you are always communicating. Even if you're not using a verbal thing, you're always communicating. And no one has a right to put their hands on you. You can wear what you want to wear. But I think that booty cleavage or butt cheek cleavage gives the wrong piece of communication. It's saying the wrong thing.
I mean, that's your take on it.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I'm just saying, that's your take on it. That's not my take. My take is if you're an adult, you wear what you want.
Knock it off.
And the communication, whatever it is that she's communicating, is what they're communicating. That's what they want to say. And so you got to be either receptive to it or you got to take a blind eye.
What if they're just showing off their RDL lips?
Right. Maybe she worked hard on that.
Liz and Mark, knock it off.
I'm just saying.
No more booty cleavage. Knock it off. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all messing with me on purpose. They trying to get me all hot and bothered. That's what y'all trying to do. No more booty cleavage. We already got this kind of cleavage. What kind of cleavage is next?
Is that what
kind of cleavage is next?
Can I ask my question?
Sure.
Would that be acceptable then?
For you?
No, not for me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about it wouldn't. There's a lot of reasons.
Why are you stuttering?
No, what I was getting ready to say was that there are a lot of reasons why that wouldn't be okay for me. But for someone who is well endowed, right? Is it okay for them, since that has become acceptable? You're not complaining about that.
Knock it off. I'm not doing this.
I'm just
What's
curious.
your question, ma'am?
I asked it already.
I'm not saying it's okay or not okay. I'm saying it's already been accepted in society. Let's not introduce
So let's
new
not
cleavage.
introduce anything.
No more new cleavage. No more new cleavage. If you got a fatty, you got a monster, you got a booty.
But that's not really new then.
What are you talking about? No. Having booty cheeks out and having people design clothes specifically with the bottom to drop out is not new.
Daisy Duke's been around for a minute.
I thought that was just meant to be like, I'm not.
No, it's not new though. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm not doing this.
So you're upset because it's new to you.
Why do you feel like I'm upset? Because I'm a crotch. You call me a crotchety old man. All I'm saying is knock it off.
We
Can
do
I move
a
on, please?
segment
I've got
called
more.
Knock It Off.
Can we move on, please?
You want to knock it off, but I'm just saying, I don't want you to see it. I didn't want you to see the girl's booty cheeks.
Would you let your daughter walk around with booty cleavage shorts?
No, because she's 15.
Knock it off.
No,
All right.
that's the truth.
We're moving on.
Okay, bye.
We're moving on. So we've dealt with some booty cleavage. We've dealt with Trump. All right. Something a little more closer to home. All right. I know you guys, my wife will be able to relate to this. We talked about this 1,000 times. All right. We live in a metropolis, LA. And I'm assuming that this is a thing in Chicago and New York and all the metropolises around the world. Mm-hmm. But quit stepping off the curb. Knock it off. As my wife says, streets are for cars.
Yes.
Sidewalks are for people, right? Now, I get it. People have to cross the street. There's pedestrians and they have bylaws that have been legislated, all right? I get it. If there's a light and you got to get across the street, I completely understand. But what about grocery stores, shopping plazas, other places like that? When you're driving and trying to find a parking spot, people just step right off the curb as if a car can't hit them. And you're just obligated to stop. It drives me insane. Knock it off. Quit stepping off the sidewalk. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping.
It's this entitled idea of pedestrians or people leaving or coming from a store or something like that, and they just step off. And I'm like, yo, you didn't even look. I'm driving. You know what I mean? And I'm a responsible driver, but a lot of these people are driving with their heads down on their cell phones, doing their thing, and they just stepping off and just walking. I'm like, yo, somebody gonna get hurt. Quit stepping off the sidewalk. As my wife says, sidewalks are for people, streets are for cars, right?
I was just gonna go back to the booty thing. Because you brought it up and I was just thinking, like, I like the idea of like booty cleavage because I'm I don't see a whole lot wrong with it. I don't have big boobs, so the idea of like wearing shorter shorts is I wouldn't.
I'm trying to get off of this.
I know. I'm sorry.
I think you're under this impression that I have an issue with booty shorts. No. What I'm saying is that there are designers now who are specifically designing shorts that cut a certain way so your butt cheeks drop through the bottom.
I know.
Not a little bit of butt.
Okay.
You're looking at a substantial piece of cheek. Okay. A substantial piece of cheek. Not only in shorts, but other pieces of garment as well. Yes. Which lets me know that this is a new style, a new fad. Butt cheeks ain't new. They always been here. Everybody got a butt.
Right.
But come on, knock it off.
Okay. I mean, I think the concept could be the same if you were thinking about like sandals, right? And so like you might use the conventional like thonged flip-flop, right? Or you might go like a gladiator look or something. You got to work with the styles that you're given. And there's not a whole lot of room to be like creative. And so if the booty cheek cut out, whatever that system is just like this new innovative way of accentuating somebody's traits, then cool. Okay, we're moving on to not looking while they walk across the street. Sorry about that, my ADD. I wasn't done, but you were knocking it off, but I wasn't done knocking it off. So,
welcome to my world, people. Welcome to my world. This is what I deal with on a regular basis, not just on the pod. So, what was it?
So what you had said was that you didn't appreciate when people like step down off of the curb without
looking.
Yeah.
Without looking. It's this entitled idea. I think we could all live in a happy society where people can cross the street and get to their car at shopping centers and malls and places of that, of like that. Now, like I said, regular traffic, I completely understand. You know what I mean? But there are places designated, for people to cross. You know what I mean? So when you're driving or you're going to take that right turn sometimes and it's not a walk sign and they just some people look. I love that. I love the idea. Like, knock it off, though. But I love the idea of people, like, making contact with the driver or the driver making contact with the pedestrian. Right. We're working in unison here. We're working in concert to get something done and make sure everybody goes home to their loved ones. Right? But there are people, and I'm not tripping, that just, they don't even stop. They don't even break stride. They just start walking. And I'm like, fam, Yo, this is a parking lot. This is a street.
Or this is a motored vehicle.
This right.
I don't know. You could get hurt. So
Knock it off.
I agree with you, but I also think that was something that we recognized when we moved to LA. So it wasn't so relevant where, like when we lived in Connecticut.
Right.
So I think that this may not land the same way in other spaces. I think this is
this is an East Coaster centric idea.
Yes.
Well, I remember I named specifically. I figured that the metropolises would have this issue.
Yeah.
The Chicagos,
Right.
the New Yorks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Where you wait for the signal.
Yeah, people just step off and just get to walking. Serious. They just get to walking. I do not understand it. I'm teaching my kids, I don't care whether it's a street, a sidewalk, or you leaving Ross. Look both ways, do your best to make eye contact with that driver before you just start walking out there all willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it off.
I imagine that the people that are actually looking, my assumption is, they must not be from here. Like, that's typically how I see it. Or they've lived someplace else or something like that. Because I think in LA specifically, like, animals have a lot of rights, and I'm not going to go there, right? It's very different. No, I don't. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying it's different.
Yeah.
And so
this is a liberated state.
When folks are
especially
walking
from where we're
across
from.
the street, when you're walking across the street, the assumption is like I'm crossing now. Okay, but the light's green and
right, and I have a motor vehicle.
I'm driving a car.
Right.
I don't know. So
right.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
I get it.
I think it's an LA thing.
So there's knock it off. All right, knock it off. I kind of get into that a little bit. I'm a crotchety old man, as my wife says. I try my best not to be a crotchety old man, but the older I get, the more stuff I have issues with. I can go on for days. That list's like 35 deep, but we got to move on.
Yeah,
we got to move on.
A lot of folks loved a lot of listeners. They loved the knock it off segment.
Knock it off. So that means that there's more crotchety old people out there. Yo, salute, crotchety old people. Get off my lawn.
Or maybe they're not old. They just are liking what you're saying because it's their own gripes that they have.
Yeah.
They haven't had the space to say it or anyone to listen.
Knock it off.
I'm sorry to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, give it like 5 more years. Scooters?
They're riding like
See?
electric scooters on the sidewalk.
See?
I know their parents
Where you live, Mark, they are definitely well off. The village of, I won't say it, but where you're at.
Right.
All right. Now, I guess I'll intro really quickly because there is no silky segue for this. We wanted to attack this and get it out of the way. We've been kind of like ducking and dodging for quite some time. But, I know it sounds crazy to say, but creatively, I thought that it was good for us to capture it while we're still in it, unfortunately. So this particular episode, thank you everyone who's here, but this one particularly goes out to our family who is grieving the loss of our beloved brother Chris. We miss you. We love you. And, I jokingly say when I see you again, I'm going to punch you right in your chest. All right. But nonetheless, we want to make sure that we address grief. We're talking about grief and mourning. And, we're married, as we said, but this is something that we all deal with. So I wrote something just to set it off. Like I said, coming down off of having some fun like that, I think we couldn't do it any other way. But so pardon me for a second. Good grief. If you stretch your mind and open your heart, maybe death makes a tiny bit of sense. But for most of us mortals, death opens the door for this unwelcome guest named grief. He sometimes kicks your door down when you least expect him, disrupts everyone's life, and makes no plans for a quick departure. As a matter of fact, I've heard grief moves in and claims a room in most lives forever. Yep, forever. Forever, ever. What an inconsiderate and inevitable jerk you are, Mr. Grief. Well, if he's here and a part of our life, we might as well address him, talk about him to his face and in front of everyone. Chop him down to size, if you will. Although grief may not leave, maybe just maybe, we can learn something from him. So I wanted to intro that, something I wrote that was not ChatGPT, by the way. That was from my heart. And this won't be easy, but I think it needs to be talked about. We're not going to duck it. All right. We're not going to duck it. And we are living in one of those moments. And I jokingly say sometimes it's almost like when you buy a blue car or a green car or a white car. Now you see green cars and blue cars and white cars everywhere. And I'm learning and seeing people grieving everywhere. And I'm sure they were there before. We lost our brother. Mm-hmm. But they're sure enough there now. And the empathy is heavy. It weighs heavy. And I feel those people. I feel them and I understand. So let's get into it. Let's try to organize it a little bit. If we have to pause, we have to pause. It's okay. Like I said, we're hurting right now, but we're here. We're here for y'all as well. So once again, shout out to our family who is hurting, our friends who are hurting, our loved ones who are hurting, people who are close to us, who support us and love that gentleman the way we loved him. We're hurting, right? Talking helps. Therapy helps. Prayer helps, right? Exercise helps. Here we go. Mm-hmm. So, Elizabeth, I want to organize this a little bit. I kind of wanted to dig into it first. I'm 45, you're 40-something years old. And we've been on this earth for a little bit. And, death is never new to anyone our age. That's just the truth of it. But I wanted to start off by just prefacing this with a few questions, and we'll just build off of that. Mm-hmm. How was death introduced to you?
So my grandfather passed away in it was either 85 or 86. And so I was pretty young when I first experienced death, but I was young enough. So I was young enough to understand, so that means a person goes away and then they don't ever come back. But also, so I was old enough to understand that, but also young enough to move forward from it. However it is that I move forward from it.
I understand.
And the reason I say that is because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. And I was very close with my grandfather, but my grandmother's dealing with that was what I think has always sat with me. And so sometimes she would just go away and have her moment to cry. And sometimes she would just be in that chair and rocking and listening to certain songs. And I can name those songs. That's how.
What songs were those?
So it was Kenny Loggins, I think it is, and Patti LaBelle's On My Own. That's one of the songs that I remember she would listen to. It was a big song at the time. And I remember a distinct
Michael McDonald, by the way.
Michael McDonald, yeah. Thank you so much. It was so I remember that song in particular, and I remember she was crying, and I said to her, and I was maybe 5 or 6. I'm why does this make you so sad? And I knew my grandfather had passed. I understood that. I made that connection. And she's like, I have to figure out life on my own. And so those are things that was one of the ways that it was first introduced, because I mean, in a lot of ways, I watched him pass. He was sick, and then he was at home, and I believe he passed at home, if I'm not mistaken. But it was more the impact. I remember I had an aunt that was with her husband in the service.
Yeah.
They flew in from Germany, people that were so far were then close again. Things like that were happening. And so that was my first introduction. This is a big deal, but I'm too young to really understand the depth of it. And so then, progressively going through life and remembering my grandfather, right, and being able even to talk right now about it and how, he was huge in that moment of my life. But it really shaped how my grandmother moved, moving forward. So, yeah.
So you got a chance to sit front row and watch that.
And watch the difference and how she had to be the matriarch of that space. And they were fairly young. Like, my grandparents were not much. My grandfather was not much older than we are. He wasn't.
He was in his 40s.
He wasn't 50 years old when he passed away. He wasn't even 50. So young, you know.
Yeah.
Well, young now, I guess.
Right.
So that was my first introduction.
That's interesting. That's something. That's something. How 85? So you're about 5 or 6.
Yes.
Man.
It was 85 or 86, one of them. It was before my sister was born.
I just think it's funny how it feels like the Almighty protects kids, protects children, you know what I mean, in that capacity where they don't quite grasp the gravity of it unless it's really, really close. You know what I mean? And even then, you still can't.
I was very close to him.
Yeah.
So you think that, but in, you know.
Yeah. Well, we're watching it in live time with our
children. With
our son, you know what I mean, and our daughter as well. For me, a little different. Vacation Bible School, 1990, maybe 1990, maybe 91. I was 10 or 11, back when VBS was still popping. Vacation Bible School, if you are old school churchgoer, you know what VBS is. It's like a camp. It's like a camp, you know what I mean? You go and you learn some cool things, and it's based around, you know, the church and the faith, and it's pretty dope. You get to see your friends, have a little fun, and it's good community. But listen, I might get the details a little off, but I just remember I once again, maybe 10, maybe 11 years old. We were at Vacation Bible School, and following Vacation Bible School or during Vacation Bible School, we were told to go upstairs, that we would be going upstairs to a homegoing service, right? A funeral. I still have no idea if this was told to me before. It couldn't have. I would have never forgot that it was told to me. But I remember being young and being a little rebellious and, you know, kind of getting loose, you know, and we traveled upstairs, you know what I mean? Me and my cousin, you know what I mean? Shout out Billy. We did everything together. We, you know, a couple other kids that were at VBS, we kind of traveled upstairs, and, you know, the casket was open and the child was younger than us.
It was a child.
It was a child. So, I just remember walking up there, because you have to. You know what I mean? Some people were scared, but I'm just like, I have to see this. I have to see this. You only see it on TV and hear about it on whatever. I have to see this. So I just remember walking up to the casket and, you know, touching the body and feeling the nothing, the cold, you know what I mean? And just trying to get a smell and just being a kid, taking in, observing, because that's what you're doing. You're always learning and observing. But I was more interested, curious than anything, right? But I do remember the funeral starting, and I was in the choir at the time, and we were made to sing. And while we were singing, we had to stand in front of the church. And I just remember breaking down, crying. Here in this little box was this person who was younger than me. It didn't make sense to me that a child younger than me could not be here. And we had heard the story of him being hit, the water hose. They had popped the water hose. And they kept saying, get out of the street. You know, when kids pop the water hose, they're in the street. You know what I mean? You're playing with the water hydrant or the water hydrant. And apparently he was hit. He was hit. And you could see the mark on his forehead. You know what I mean? You can kind of see the mark. And it was just like, it was odd. It was weird. But I do remember being haunted, you know, mentally being haunted by this 4 years. You know what I mean? You couldn't get me close to a church for a funeral to save your life, right? Unless I had to go. And if I had to go, if I remember, they were generally older people. That makes sense to a mind like mine at the time, who's super curious.
It makes sense. That makes sense for adults.
Okay.
I think. I mean,
yeah.
It makes sense for adults. Like, oh, okay, so-and-so is 98 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't like it. It sucks.
Right.
But it makes more sense. Yeah.
But in your head, like logically, you can make it make sense. You can place it somewhere.
Yeah.
And be content.
Right.
With it, you know?
You could file it somewhere in your mind. You could file it somewhere in your mind. But yeah, once again, you know, listening to your story, being so young, it's almost like maybe God sometimes introduces you to it. Just kind of say hello to it. There'll be more. You know what I mean? And as you mature, you get more opportunities, unfortunately, to, hear about, see, and go to homegoing, funerals, all of these different things. So yeah, that was how I was introduced. As you matured, how did your mindset change regarding death? And was there a moment that it changed for you, that you became more aware, more adept at feeling the feelings?
It's recent. So yes. Short answer, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's recent though. So outside of the passing of our brother,
Yeah.
and my grandfather so many years ago, I would say my grandmother is the only other like death that was like, oh wow, I'm really going to miss this person.
Yeah.
When my grandmother passed away, for me that was I was ready to leave. I was ready to leave Connecticut. I was like, okay.
Right. I'm good.
I can go now.
Mm.
And so that was how much, how important she was to me. I wouldn't have wanted to leave. I probably wouldn't have wanted to relocate like I had. And we left.
Yeah. Soon thereafter. Shortly. Yeah.
Later that year. I think it was the same year. Yeah. No, it was the following year.
Yeah. I remember you not being, I remember you being emotional and not truly knowing how to console you. We were still fairly young in our relationship as married people, married couple. But I don't think that I knew how to truly, take care of you. I just didn't know. And once again, we talk about, it being a little easier when people are older. But now that we're older and I recognize your grandmother, she really wasn't that old either.
No.
You know what I mean? She really wasn't that old. So I do remember trying to negotiate that with you and not really knowing what to say or what to do, or, how to be there for you other than to be there for you,
right?
However I could. And it's funny because even though, she knew me and I knew her, you know what I mean? Because she called me Stanley, Scott, anything that was not Stephen.
Grandma could never remember people's names. That was like her catchphrase. She was going to call you all the names, but looking at you, and you don't even have to call it out. You just need to be available.
How you doing, Stanley? I mean, Grandma. She was strong with it too. How you doing, Stanley? And I just stopped fighting it. I'm doing great, Grandma. It's good to see you.
Yeah. So I think, just like getting back to that question, I think that being at this ripe age, right? And now having a season of death, a number of family members, whether they were close or not.
Yeah.
But experiencing homegoing services and things like that. It was like back to back to back this particular season before our brother. And it really put me in a space of, wow, so I'm this age and add 20 something to my parents. And now we're starting to see numbers that look a little like my grandmother or, not my grandfather, but just like when it could or could not happen. Yeah. We really don't know. Right. But it started to just put some things in place for me, like thinking about my own mortality and thinking about, like, okay, what will I do? I remember thinking about like, well, where would we be buried? Where would we, just thinking about random thoughts, but those things never crossed my mind 10 years ago.
Right.
Wouldn't even have thought about those things. And it's like, oh, they've become more real because they're happening so much more frequently.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Just adding more to, what you were talking about regarding the number of funerals within the last, you're still going to say 2. Let's just go ahead and do 2. It hasn't even been a full 2 years, but we're talking my grandmother, right? We're talking my grandmother.
An aunt.
We're talking my aunt.
Your uncle.
We're talking
great uncle.
My great uncle. Very shortly after, we're talking my grandmother, right? My matriarchal grandmother. And then we're talking my brother. And my grandfather, you know what I mean? And then my brother. And we're talking, this is 2 years worth of getting on airplanes, you know what I mean? Trying to, duel with these things. Now, mind you, these things aren't hitting me too hard. You know what I mean? Like I feel it. I feel them. You know what I mean? Uncle Charlie, you know what I mean? Older gentleman, Cousin Lisa, that stung everybody. That wasn't supposed to happen. Like that was crazy. You know what I mean? My grandmother, who was everybody's, but we watched that happen. Right. And that was rough. You know what I mean? Because it was a time frame of her, kind of withering and transitioning. So that kind of prepared us, for the season, if you will. Thank God for that. Even in that, there's God being perfection, being perfect. But that was interesting to see that. But nowhere in that were we prepared for what we just went through. And you are 100% right. It mandated that you explore parts. You had to do a deep dive, or not. Some people don't. I did some reading. Some people don't do a deep dive. It happens, they feel the moment, and they move about. But that's not how your body's wired. That's not how your mind is wired. That's not how your spirit is wired. These things are all, you're made a certain way, and they all grieve, but in their time. So I really wanted to kind of talk about that. I talked about the maturation. I asked you about the maturation, and you talked about your grandmother and how, you started to think about your mortality and so and such. I've been thinking about everything. I've been that many homegoing services, that much time on an airplane going back east. I've been thinking about everything from wills, trust, health, diet, relationships. My brother, without a doubt, him passing made me look at everything. A full overview, a full analysis. What's the word I use for taxes?
An audit.
Self-audit. And that's during that self-audit, I recognize that, well, first and foremost, it wasn't time for a self-audit. It was time to grieve. It was time to grieve. And I didn't know what that was. I know what mourning is. I know that's an expansive idea of mourning. I've heard about certain cultures where the women will wear black for the rest of their life and grieve. Italian. See, I've heard about that. I know what weeping is. I know what crying is now. I learned that I'm not a crier. I'm a weeper. So if you're looking for a bunch of tears, that doesn't happen with me, but you'll catch me weeping. And I said, this stuff is important, to learn.
Or to understand, yeah.
Yep, it's important to learn. But I do recognize that, once again, going back to Jason Wilson's book, The Man, the Moment Demands, I will not go into details. This ain't that platform. That's for us. And a lot of that stuff is for me, because I won't even share some things with you until I'm ready. There's still more regarding my brother. But even with that being said, I had just finished the book, The Man, the Moment Demands, Jason Wilson. What a fantastic book. And I can recognize wholeheartedly that the Almighty was prepping me by having me read this book. And because I was actually supposed to be reading You Deserve to Be Rich. You know what I mean? But I opted for The Man, the Moment Demands. And as I finished it is when everything happens. And once again, I realized that I was prepared for gore. I was prepared for the tough stuff. I was prepared to handle business. I was prepared to be tough. I was prepared to be a lion. I was prepared to be the person who stands in a gap and holds and, talks to. And that was no problem. I'm like, wow, yeah, I didn't realize I had this in me. That's great. And then just like that, after talking to my therapist, I had this revelation that you can do all of that, but I wasn't prepared for grief.
No.
No one can prepare you for that because it's unanswerable. It's the thing that makes sense to no one, no matter who you are, theologian, whatever, you're well-versed, well-read, articulate, smart, all of these things. You cannot be prepared for that because it moves on its own accord. Grief is a monster. It's a monster. So this last 2 years have been a roller coaster for me emotionally and all these different things. So that audit, getting, releasing some friends and even some family, that it's just time, you know what I mean? And really locking into the things that matter. You know what I mean? That with that self audit, even down to the diet and how you spend your money and who gets your time and how important your immediate family is. That type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I think all of that, great, eloquent. And grief is so complicated because in this particular space, right? He didn't fit the algorithm.
Not at all.
By no means.
Not at all.
His situation just it was like
it was not in the cards.
You blew, and it was.
Right.
Right, in the same breath.
Well done.
And that's right.
Well said.
It's like the wind is knocked out of you in a situation like this, and you're trying to like find your footing and make sense of certain things. But really the situation didn't check any boxes, but then it did. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things that I'm wanting to manage, or just even recognizing how much of a staple I'm talking particularly about him, because I think that I have experienced grief for certain people in certain spaces that never passed away. Yeah. Right. So I've experienced grief in another space and time, but that's like, oh, this is a choice that I've made. And so now I have to grieve that decision that I've made. And so now to be in a space where I have to grieve someone that was so close or so tangible and is now intangible, that's probably the hardest part of all of this. Yeah. That's probably the hardest part, because you want to make sense of something that was here today and is now not. Yeah. And just not being able to grasp the why. Absolutely. But having a whole lot of answers too, Yeah. So.
Well said. Well said. Like I said, we're not here to, memorialize my brother all over again. No. But I do think talking helps. And I think that living in a moment for the people who are watching us, I hope that we're helping you, because this is going to help us as well. But I didn't realize that there were no true answers. I didn't realize that no matter where you search, that they weren't coming. I didn't realize that even, a scholarly, wise, well-groomed, biblical man like my father, that he didn't have the answers either. And when you have the people in your life that you see or look to for answers, not have the answers, it really throws you for a loop. It really throws you for a loop, and it really takes a lot. But once again, we are where we are. But once again, now I'm walking around the gym. I'm in the car, watching television, just doing life. And you really become just inundated with the fact that a lot of people are walking around with this. Mm-hmm. And it don't happen for 30 days for some people. It don't happen for 3 years for some people. One of the young ladies that I was speaking to that was talking to me early in the situation was like, she had a family member that was taken, in a murder. Mm-hmm. And it was a younger, one of the younger kids in the family. And she was like, not here today, going tomorrow. Here a couple of hours ago. And then gone just like that. And a mom is different now. The family is different now. Schoolmates are different now. And once again, life goes on. The clock doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. But here you are left with these things. And some of the things I want to talk about, if you don't mind sharing, I don't mind sharing either, because I had no idea I'd feel this way. I told you that my world was beginning to get a little more sunny about a month ago. Getting a little more sunny, starting to smile more, starting to pick up my productivity a little bit. And started to I went like, oh, I can get to this. I can carry this. I can get moving again, and so on and so forth. And just like that, I realized that my body wasn't done.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just like, well, I'm having a conversation with someone, and then there's tears coming down, but I didn't authorize these tears.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't wake up in the morning saying I would do this.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't generally cry. I'm more of a weeper.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I'm not weeping. So what's this? Okay, you get yourself together, and next thing you know, because you've done that, that's drained you emotionally and physically. So now I'm in the middle of a workout in the gym, and I'm like, wait, I don't want to do this anymore. Just like that, I don't have the energy to. And who doesn't? I always have energy. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty energetic dude until I come down, right? But when I'm up, I'm up. And I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm in the middle of working out. My endorphins are moving. My pores are open. I'm excited. I also noticed that any type of chord, the wrong chord of a song from anyone's car or any noise from a commercial might trigger that. It was it's a trip. It's really a trip. It really is a trip, man. Really is a trip. I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, so we don't belabor too long on it. Is there anything in the form of like a movie, songs, art, a poem, literature that would help you surmise what you're dealing with in this moment?
So I read a journal. It's called Notes on Grief. I was actually going to talk about it, whether you had introed it or not. It's called,
what is it called?
Notes on Grief.
Okay.
And it's by Nigerian woman, or Lagos. She's from Lagos, but her family lives in Nigeria. She's an author. Her name is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Okay. Say that again.
Notes,
I'm sorry, I'm not messing with you, but
no, it's fine. Notes on Grief. Chimamanda, sorry. Ngozi Adichie. And it's spelled like phonetically. And so anyway, she wrote, like I said, it's like a journal. It's maybe an hour long and an audiobook. So it's a pretty short piece. And she just talks about the nuance of grief. So her father's passed away.
Nuance of grief. I like how you said that.
It's the little, like the subtleties.
I totally understand.
Yeah, the subtleties that happen in grief. And so as she was just kind of relaying her story and she's talking about it, her father, just for some context, her father passes away during the pandemic.
Yep.
He is in Lagos with two of her siblings living nearby. The rest of them, one is in Connecticut. She was where she lived. I think she lived in like the Jersey area. Another sibling lives but in the States. And they have to deal with grief, but from their siloed spaces.
At the same time.
Yes, because airports are down because it's in the heart of the pandemic. And so there's worry of this and all of the things that, that happened. I mean, think back 5 years, right, to the pandemic.
Ugh.
Right. And so she's like, Nigerian airports are not open. And so she's talking about the conversations that they were having. So as a family, their father, they revered their father.
Right.
And he was getting ready to go to a kidney specialist appointment, because he was feeling like things were just off. And so it's all like suspecting that he ends up passing. But in preparation, not of the appointment, but just of this pandemic and this isolation that they were having, they did a really good job of trying to stay connected as a family. And so they would do their group calls on Sundays, and they would check in individually, and they would do certain things. And so they were all on, on screen and whatnot. And so she talks about all of the little things that were happening as the lead up.
Yeah.
And then now having to deal with this abrupt death. how to manage that and wanting to make sense of things. And so she talks about like all of the sweet things that people want to say to kind of placate folks and like he's in a better place and he's not hurting anymore. Just those, what do you call those
I get what you mean. Yeah,
I'm
speaking some good things, and they think they're speaking good things into you.
And she was like, and I'm guilty of that because I have said that.
Yes, I felt that guilt. I felt once you endure it, you feel like an idiot. And I talked about this with you in the car regarding my cousin who lost her husband years ago. I was super duper young when this happened, and we weren't really in good contact. But when it happened, I needed her number, and I found a way to get to her number. And just like that, I heard about how everything that went down, and I'm calling, and I'm leaving messages and calling, call me back. And I now, 20 years later, now I realize like, people don't want to talk. People don't really want to talk right now. They don't mean any harm. They're sick of hearing the sweet nothings and the kind words. They don't even want any more of your food. Just being around and just being there for them and put, the hugs and all the makeup that's on your shirt that you get from people showing you love. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying I understand now how, although it's needed, it's meant it's meant to be support, to show love. But there's none of it doesn't make sense. And I know I didn't. I'm just saying I don't want any more. I don't want any more love. I just want to be left alone for a while. So I get
that part.
Yeah, so the book basically helped you.
Yeah, it like I said, it talked about all the nuanced things that I thought about that felt like, oh, this is specific to me.
Yeah.
And my unit trying to figure out grief. But the truth is, no, a lot of what she was saying was like, oh, we're all dealing with that when we deal with grief. Like in those moments. So one of the other things that she had mentioned that really stood out for me was like how people show support. And so like you said, somebody may be calling and they want to check in with you and they want to see and they want you to know like, hey, I love you. And I want you to know that I'm thinking of you and whatnot. And you may not be in a space to want to talk because a lot of times, right, like after, and she says it like this, like after you've told the story and you've told the story again, and you've told it over, like because you're still trying to process it, it doesn't change the outcome. And because it doesn't change the outcome, it's like you get to a point where you're tired of talking about that anymore.
You don't want to tell any more stories. You just want to be left alone. To do what?
To sit with it.
You don't even know, right? You don't even know. And what happens is it feels like there's a fraternity that's now built, even if it is family. But it now feels like we have now joined a fraternity of people who are now feeling the exact same thing at the exact same time. Yeah, there's different layers, textures to it. You know what I mean? Maybe even different measures of it. You know what I mean? But we've now joined this elite fraternity that you would rather not be a part of.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really want to be a part of this fraternity.
I didn't want to join this club.
Yeah. Right. It's really, really interesting. Our friend Oriel, shout out to Oriel, who has been a strong staple in this moment. She lost her brother years ago. And although I didn't attend the funeral and the homegoing, I was there for a particular part of it. And to this day, I have no idea how I had the chops, how I had the spiritual wherewithal to be there for her in this weird, awkward, irregular moment. Right. She was there for us. And she shared something with me that was really interesting that I wanted to share before she talked about the eldest. You know what I mean? I kept separating myself from my brother, and I kept talking about him being a son. And I think what my mind and my brain and my psyche did was I, for some reason, went into being a dad and what it would feel like to play around. Not that I want to play around with the idea of, but your brain and your mind goes there to what would it be like, or how would I feel if my baby boy or my baby girl, where would I be? And you allow yourself to go there, as sick as it is, to go there. And then you got to fight your way out of that room.
Cancel.
Yeah, you got to fight your way out of that room. X out. Get rid of all the tabs. And I found myself doing that. But my friend Oriel brought up the idea of no one talks about the eldest. You and I share that bond, that we're the eldest.
We're firstborns.
Firstborns aren't just firstborn and they get to punch their brother and sister in the chest and stuff like that and make fun of them. We also, if you're born at a certain time, we are responsible every now and again for diapers. We're responsible for babysitting. Some of the caretaking responsibilities that come along with being a part of a tribe, right?
And don't be a latchkey kid. Right. Then you did it. Then it was heightened.
Yep.
No shade to our parents. But truth is true.
But she articulated that to me and it took me somewhere else. And she was like, no one talks about that. And I was like, man, she's right. You know what I mean? We're not parents. We didn't bring these children into the world. But man, when we lose a sibling, it's like, hey, I did change some diapers. There was some caretaking. So you kind of, you kind of take on some of that responsibility and it's a different feel. It's a different feel. And I was like, wow, thank you for sharing that. And I'm like, man, all it really told me was that no matter what part you play in a person's life or what role you have in their world, you see this person who's no longer with you in a certain respect, in a certain light, and it affects you in a certain way. And no one can stand in line or sit at a table and say, my grief is greater than yours. No. My grief is like this. My grief is this. No, draw 4. No, pick up 2, or, reverse. You can't do that. But what I will say is I can't get over a parent having to be put in that position. I just can't do it. I'm struggling with that. I don't have it in me to see how a parent can do that. I can see how they do it because I watched it, which also teaches me something. I'm like, Lord, please don't be teaching me this. I don't want to be taught this.
I don't need that.
I don't want that.
I don't want
that. Please, Lord, I don't want that. But it was also awesome to see, how people show up, how people act, how people respond. And as time goes on, it's awesome to see people get stronger. But I wanted to share, if you don't mind, you talked about the piece of literature. Well, I found a couple of songs, but I couldn't figure out which song to share that helped me with my grief. And for me...
Or is helping you?
Or is helping me. I can't go back to it now. You know what I mean? But now I went back to it today for the sake of the pod. And I was able to make it through. I said, oh, interesting.
What was the song?
So, Alan Stone.
Oh.
It was 3 of them. It was, Jay Electronica and Jay-Z, I got numbers on my phone that'll never ping again. It hits different. It hits different. And Mark, it hits different. It just hits different. I screenshot them, so I screenshot them, so I have them. I don't want this thing to end. And I'm just like, I did that. I saved everything that I could to make sure that maybe next week, and I did that. As crazy as it sounds, I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. But for a couple of weeks, I just text him, hoping that he would, hey, man, get back to me, bro. It's okay. I won't tell nobody, but just get back to me. Like I'm special, right? When Nipsey passed, I found her, I'm not okay. And that was the first time I told you that I didn't even realize what grief was. Right. And I was like, something's happening to me. But I can't be grieving or mourning because I've never met this gentleman. But Nipsey was very important, vital to my psyche and what I was learning to be. And, when he passed.
March 31st.
I was like, yo. And I remember you and Angie, shout out Angie, were like, no, baby, that's called grieving. And I was like, but I never met him. That's impossible. And y'all was like, that's not how this works. That was a precursor to the fact that I now know that I knew nothing about grief.
Right.
I knew nothing. Totally a virgin, totally ignorant to the idea. Right? So I listened to a lot of I'm Not Okay by her. And she just says it over and over, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. And I'm like, oh, whoever wrote this did a fantastic job. Because there is no other words. Hey, how you doing? I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm drifting away. I'm not okay. But I found a song by Alan Stone. And I actually was sending this to a couple of people during the moment. And, hopefully I could help them, people who are hurting. And it was the lyrics. And you don't want people to feel sorry for you, but, whether it's a faith-based song or a Christian song, God is everywhere. And I believe that this song was specifically for me. I never heard it before, but I was scrolling through YouTube and happened to find it. And I'm like, how did I never hear this? I'm a big Alan Stone fan. But it's called Give You Blue. And really quickly, it's called, once again, Alan Stone, Give You Blue. And to me, it felt like God was saying, listen to me, son. Like, let me tell you something. I can't stop the rain, but I will keep you dry. If the shore feels far away, then I will be by your side. And when the storms arise, love will shelter you. When your sky is gray, I will give you blue. I will give you blue. But I can't move a mountain. I can't move. I can't move. I am just a man. Understand? I can't undo what's happened. Can't undo but for you. Oh, but I will understand. Just a man, understand. And although it may hurt, baby, I tell you the truth. Because when your sky is gray, I will give you blue. And in that moment, when I found the song, it kind of felt like I was being like held and like a child, you know what I mean? And now I understand, when they swaddle babies, why babies are comfortable like that. They're tight, they're held, they're comfortable, they're warm.
They're protected,
right? Mm-hmm. And in this moment of me having to be strong and having to take care of some business and all of these different things, I just needed to be held, but not from a human. You couldn't give me what I needed. You couldn't hug me hard enough to give me what I needed, right? So in the moment, this song, I believe that the Almighty sent for me, and it took me through. And I know that it took me through because here I am, a couple of months later, and I can listen to it without it completely breaking me down, which is really a lie because here I am breaking down, right? Knock it off.
I love
right?
him. Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for things. My cousin Mia, shout out to my cousin Mia, she calls little things like that God kisses. God kisses. So just grateful, to have some things like that. And I'm grateful that, that there's something that you're able to find and lay your hat on to get you through via literature that you just shared. So it would behoove people to find something for you. I didn't think that would be a thing, but when you're grieving, find something. And it's okay to play it over and over again. It's okay to watch it over and over again. It's okay to wear it over and over again. It's okay, whatever it is that gives you comfort, gives you peace in a moment of something like this. It's just so unfair. I can't say anything else. And not just for us, but for all. Because I know, and I wanted to do this episode so bad, trying to avoid this little cry, but it's fine. It is what it is. I ain't no sucker. This is my truth. This is our truth. Mm-hmm. And this is a lot of people's truth, man. People are waking up every day and going to sleep and having their day interrupted and having to take time and not recovering.
So you say like to just lean into the thing that gives you the solace that you need, right? Mm-hmm. And just keep hitting repeat or loop it. Or I still feel like I'm in an exploration space of figuring out what that thing is.
Right.
Because I don't think that I'm afraid of crying. I'm okay. I'm okay with crying. I'm okay with getting those things out. But I think I'm in a space now where the tears don't give me what I need. Mm. So initially, like when he first passed, particularly in this instance, when he first passed, I was like, I'm yearning for his voice. Yep. I'm yearning for certain things. And so I'd listen and automatically, of course, waterfalls and all of those things. And then I was feeling an influx of feelings.
Yeah.
Anger, sadness, confusion.
Bing.
All of the things.
All of the things.
Yes. I was experiencing a lot of that. And I'm just like, this doesn't feel good for me.
Right.
This doesn't feel good.
This doesn't feel like this is healthy for me.
Right. And I understand that grief is not supposed to necessarily feel good, right? But you have this storm.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well done. It's a storm of stuff.
Yes. That you are, for me, like I want to logically make sense of things. But again, like I go back to it, he didn't fit any of of that algorithm.
Right.
None of that made sense. And so this has been different because of that.
Yeah.
And because this is a marriage podcast, I want to talk a little bit about being your wife and having to just navigate how to be available to you, and the moment that I recognize I just have to wave the white flag and like I can't do it on my own. I can't try to fix your feelings. I can't attempt to tap dance to make you happy.
Right.
I can't do those things.
Yeah.
And so I have to let you be where you are and in the space that you're in and feel those feelings, because that is where the healing happens, right? And so it's been really hard to watch kind of the phases that you've been in, because grief is not linear, because I'm having bad dreams. I'm having these lucid dreams. I'm having these things. You're telling me these things. And of course, I want to protect you. I don't know exactly how to protect you in that space, except being like, I'm here if you need me, but you know that, right? So that has been really tough to manage. And in real time, I know that these last 2 days have been really hard for you. Very hard. And it's like, okay, he needs his space. And I know that you are a person who can verbalize very well. Like, I need you. You can be very vulnerable and you can say what you need. And I know that you can do those things. And I recognize asking you isn't always the best way to manage that. And so I've taken that stance of I'll step back and I'll wait for him to give me a sign of what he needs.
And you know what's funny? My response to that would be, thank you, right? I'm grateful. I appreciate you. But just like millions of other people, I feel like that's unfair, because I believe there's certain things, certain people you lose, it's here forever. Not in this, not dressed the way it is right now. I'm sure it'll dress itself, different in a few years. But I understand when people say sometimes you grieve forever. So I'm like, there's really nothing you can say or do but other than be who you are, you know what I mean, and be supportive, just like millions of other people. And once again, to say it again, I've got such a big slice of empathy pie sitting in my lap, per se, for people who are going through it, and I want to say, even on the pod, if you've lost someone out there and I acknowledged it and it came off like I didn't care, please forgive me. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. This is an incredibly impossible task for I believe any human to have to maintain, and not to get all, holier than thou, but it does make sense to me, for those who subscribe to the faith of Christ, that the one thing that he did that no other human did was he beat death. And that makes sense to me, because if that's the one thing that no one has ever done but him, I get why he had to do it. I can't be everything that I need to be for you. I can't take on your sin. I can't take on all your troubles. I can't even help you through grief if I don't send my son to do what only one person will ever do, and that's beat death. And it's also, once again, to give it a little more sting, more power, it's the thing that none of us understand. How about that?
Right.
No one can understand this thing. So forgive me if I've ever shorted someone or I didn't come through the way I should have. Please forgive me. This sucks. But we ain't the only people.
No.
And thank you. And also, if I wasn't what I needed to be for you, for your losses. Please forgive me. But I promise you now, it sucks that God prepares you, but I know moving forward, I don't want anybody else to go. Please, Lord, but I know what it is. We ain't here forever.
Do you mind if I?
Sure, please.
Okay. So let's talk about maybe some takeaways then when we think about grief, right? Let's give some, this is edutainment, right?
Mhm.
And so let's try to lean into that for a minute. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So I got some key takeaways that I think that I've gathered just from a little bit of the learning from this process.
Yep.
Okay. So first one, I shared it already. Grief is just, it's not linear. So you're going to feel, grief is not linear. You're going to feel one way and think, oh, I've gotten through the stage. And then a song comes on, or you're in a Denny's that you happen to be in. That happened actually, right? In a Denny's that were where we ate. And are you okay? Nope. Not okay.
Not okay.
Got it. Right. So
check, please.
Can we go? Thank you. So grief is not linear. Number 2, loss reshapes your identity.
Loss reshapes your identity. That's very good.
So I've thought about this a number of times, right? Because I've always seen you as, what's the show? My Three Sons. So I've always thought of that show,
right,
and thought about you guys because it's
there's 3 of us.
The 3 of you, right? And now I'm like, it's not 3. Well, it is 3, but it's not 3. Just the random thoughts that you have in your mind, and I'm saying it more lightly than maybe it means here, but just thinking about how loss really does kind of shift things. Yeah. We're not a family of this, we're a family of that now. Yeah. We're not a bit, right. So just thinking about that. Number 3, death reminds me of what really matters. Someone passes away and you go, oh shoot, there's a whole lot of woulda, shouldas. I should have did this. If I had known this wasn't my last time, this was my last time, maybe I would have gone to see Wicked with them. Maybe I would have, maybe I didn't want to watch that movie, but right. If that was the last one that I would have, it does a lot of that. Okay. Number 4, love and grief are deeply connected because grief is a cost of love.
That's good.
I'm gonna let that just sit there. Number 5 is a reminder of how fragile life is, right? Like the finite pieces of it, because we think we have a day, we have the next day, and we know they have all the cliches, right?
Right. Nobody makes it out alive.
Right.
All those.
Or
right.
Like you have tomorrow, and then you don't always have tomorrow. Support matters in grief, and support is not. For me, in this experience, support was my aunt saying to me, in this moment, she told me what to do. And that felt like, thank you, because I can't even think straight right now. Yeah. So thank you. You're telling me, and that's the support, right? In that moment. I don't need to get into the context of it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. But then it also looked like, don't worry about dinner today. Yep. Please how can I feed you?
How can I feed you?
Or the doorbell ringing.
Flowers,
Flowers, but no, the doorbell ringing and someone that we love dearly being at our doorstep.
Just like that.
I felt like I should just come see you. And in some of the books, I'm like, we don't know if you're hyper independent, if you're hyper.
Right. That thing.
Right.
That
like
part.
And typically of a trait of like a typical firstborn
right.
stuff, hyper independent, you don't necessarily know how to take on support. Yeah. Or if you've never really had to. So support matters in these times. And the last thing is like, we all grieve differently. So just because I'm not
different.
So just because I'm not crying, or just because so-and-so is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to work out, and I'm trying to reshape or figure out what that doesn't mean that they're not grieving.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Not throwing that's good stuff.
So anyway.
In the sidebar, as I just alluded to Kendrick's, grief in N95, I'm sorry, in the therapy project. I can't even think what it's called. But either way, that project hits different now.
Of course.
It was fantastic. It's Kendrick, you know what I mean? And he digs deep. But that project, I listened to it a couple weeks ago, as I told you, it hits different now. That's a whole different ball of wax. I said, that ain't for everybody, but it's for everybody.
It's, that's the beauty of life though, right? Because you could read The Alchemist and I could read The Alchemist.
And get something totally different.
Yeah, we could get different things and really dependent on the season that we're in, right? Then we're going to sit and go like, oh shoot, this resonates. Right. This resonates different from me. Or even somebody may suggest a certain book or, something and you're like, yeah, that one didn't hit for me
and then
so much. And then you might revisit it whenever or however, or something. You may come across it for whatever reason. And so, music does that for us. But our experiences do that too. And you could fill in the blank, but we're talking about grief right now. And so I appreciate just being receptive to trial and error, being open to maybe that's not my process right now.
Right.
So I'm going to try something else. So anyway,
yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Really quickly, so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
What's your take now? After enduring something like this, what's your take on grief now?
Give me a second. Do you want to maybe start with your answer?
Mine is simple. I'll tell you with a straight face that I've learned that you know nothing, that none of us know nothing, and this is not some deep Degrassi, Neil deGrasse Tyson response. But the more you think you know something this traumatic and something this deep, it shows you that you know nothing. And it will behoove you to search for more answers. And where do you search for answers? On your knees, in your habits, with your family, in your meditations, in your, in them books. That's where you find it. You know what I mean? And it shows me that I knew nothing. Just as much as I think I know, you know nothing after something like this. It's almost like a hard refresh. Hit the power button on your Nintendo. Showing my age, right? There's nothing you can do to prepare. You know what I mean? It's like you can run the sprints, you can lift the weights, you can shoot the jump shots, you can do all the different things. But when you're standing in front of that giant, you're not prepared. But you give your best, whatever your best is. And once again, you think you know, but you know nothing.
Yeah, you have no idea. That was like a slogan for like MTV, real life. You think you know, but you have no idea. So I think my answer would have been something very similar. So it's obedience over sacrifice. And the reason being that, like I had shared in one of my takeaways, right? Like life reminds you of grief reminds you of how finite like life is.
Yeah.
And so be whatever it is that you aspire to, because you're being reminded like your time really isn't as long as you expect it.
Straight up.
So let me be obedient to the things that God is asking me to do. Let me make sure that I'm doing the things so that I'm living life.
Live. Get busy living.
Yes.
One of our favorite movies. Either you get busy dying, or you get busy living, or you get busy dying. You know what I mean?
So
Shawshank.
I believe so.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think that's probably one of the things that I've learned in terms of grief.
Look, once again, thank you everybody for taking this time with us. Although it got a little dry because we're talking about something very serious, and there's no way that we can touch on every single detail and nuance regarding grief, mourning, death. We can't touch on everything, but we wanted to go ahead and get this out. It was important to us. And just know wholeheartedly that much love to every and anyone who has gone through and will go through losing someone, whether they're 105 or whether they are 25. The body, the mind, and the spirit are just not prepared for something of this magnitude. All right. Love on people. Love on people. Have your boundaries. We all got our boundaries, and some of us who've been in therapy, we take our boundaries, whatever, and we make sure that we take care of ourselves. But nothing can prepare you for something like this. We hope that we've given you guys some hope. We hope we shed some light. And we hope that we've exercised a few demons as a community. Us to you, you to us, somebody sitting next to you. It's a part of life. You know what I mean? Living is a part of it. Dying is a part of it as well. And it stinks. It sucks. Right? But nonetheless, we got each other. You got life in your lungs. You got air in you got air. Yo, get to work. Mm-hmm. Get to work. That's all I got. You good?
I'm okay.
I'm okay. This has been another episode of Marriage for Grown Folks. I promise you it won't always be this drab and dry, but sometimes we got to attack things head on. We appreciate you guys. See you soon.